So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the pressure. We've discussed that to become the fine jewel we're supposed to be, that we're going to go through some pressure. Now, everybody's pressure may be a little different. Some may have everything monetarily and nothing emotionally. Some may have everything emotionally and be destitute, lack money. Some may have been abused as a child. Some may have been abandoned as a child. Some may have been molested. Some may have been raped. There's multiple scenarios that could have taken place. And yes, it hurt when it was happening. But that pressure was forming into the precious jewel. And you can't look at your hair or shape or any of that, because sometimes the pressure is leaning to the right, sometimes the pressure is leaning to the left. Very rarely is the pressure flush. And so where the pressure is how the stone is going to form. But the other part about this pressure and being this precious jewel is that you're hard to find. So keep in mind that while the man is going through his pressure and his formation and his training to be a husband, he's being led down a path that's going to take him to where you are hidden in your secret place. Mind you, you may see some marriages that survive where they met at the club or they met at the bar or they met at church or whatever. But that's not being a place where someone has to look for him to have to find you. You're not readily in his face. You're not at the bar. You're not at the club. And I'm not saying don't go, have fun. But you should never be there thinking that's where your soulmate is going to find you. We also should understand that Scripture specifically said, he that finds. We shouldn't be looking for no man. We are not the finder. We are the thing being found. We are the treasure being dug. And sometimes we can't be found because we're in the wrong place. We're supposed to be here, but instead we're there. We were supposed to be at the library, but we snuck off to the club. So understand that in your anxiety or disappointment that no one has found you, keep in mind you may have been out of place when he was there to find you. Because the enemy hears what you put up out of your mouth. So here's what we do. We get with our homegirls. I want a man that got a Maserati or a Bugatti. I want him to have gold chains, and I want him to be buff, or I want him to be a cuddly teddy bear, or I want him to have lots of money. I don't think any of us have ever said we wanted a man that had no money. And I want him to be a thug. I just love a thug. Or I want him to be a lawyer. I just love a lawyer. Or we speak these things out of our mind, what we want. Please know that wants are not. And the majority of the time that we want is not necessarily within the will of the Messiah. So the enemy has heard you, and he's going to send just that. Why? Because it's a distraction. Because he knows somewhere on the other side of town or somewhere in your initial circle, the Father is wooing someone just for you. But if he sends that distraction and you get in that play relationship with that distraction, now he couldn't take your prospective husband, but he could make you delay meeting him or not meet him at all because you're off on a whole nother situation. So we have to be careful that we are hidden yet available. Well, what do you mean? I mean just what I said. If you're on Plenty of Fish, if you're on Only Farmers, Old People Meet, Black People Meet, Love Over 50, Love Over 10, whatever, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and you are entertaining the essence of finding a man there, and you want to build a virtual relationship, and then you want to get married to a man you really don't know, because you may think you know him. If you're talking virtually, he can tell you anything. You're talking on the party line on the phone, he can tell you anything. You don't really know what he has going on until you got within each other's space. Then you find out what you thought was the prince was really the fraud. They just dressed him up really. So we're not hidden if we're everywhere looking. And I'm not saying that social media is bad, good, none of that, nothing to do with this topic really. But what I'm saying is, with all things, be cautious of how you do it. If we're out and we're respectfully dressed, then we're still covered, we're still kind of hidden. But if we're out and we done got it cut down here and all our cleavage is out and all our butt cheeks are out and our cat is hanging out the front of our clothes and we try to hee it off like, oh, this is the latest fashion, or oh, I didn't know when I saw it on the rack it was going to fit like this. We knew. Shame the enemy and tell the truth. You were looking for a piece that night. You put on your outfit, you went out, you found you a piece, but not a husband. Because we don't look. We're not supposed to find him. If we found him, he's guaranteed to go left at some point. Because part of him leading, part of him providing, part of him protecting is the same way he hunts for the meat. He looks for his wife that's going to fit him, that's going to bring balance. And he's not just doing it of his own mind. The Father is telling him what he needs for balance. Because this is part of why he needs this wife. He's leaving his mother and his father, who have taught him, balanced him the whole time. And he's getting a wife who now will take that place and bring him balance. When he doesn't understand which way to go, when he doesn't understand why, when he's gone out in the world and he's been beat down and defeated, he comes home and lays his head on her chest, and she gives him kind words, wise words, and the strength from an emotional, spiritual standpoint to get back into the fight. Are you ready to do that? Because if you are not ready to be married. If as soon as he walks in the door, beat, tired, and not knowing what to do next, you immediately start hollering about the light bill and the trash and the everything else, not paying any attention to the fact that at that moment he needs your love. You ain't ready to be a wife yet. Because we don't always have to holler about the trash and the light bill. Some things don't have to be discussed because they're already known. But sometimes there needs to be an order to things. So if he's in a bad place, he don't care about the trash. He's wondering why you didn't just take it out before he got home. I have the kids that's ripping and running and playing the video game. Take it out before he got home. So we need to think of these things. Because while we're under pressure, this is some of the stuff we're supposed to be learning. Because we're going through our mistakes in this time. We're going through our issues. We're learning us. So that when we get into a situation We know our strengths. I'll give you an example. I'm extremely analytical. You write it out on paper, I can do it. If you tell me, I might not have been listening. If you record it and send it to me, I still might not have been listening. But if it's in a book, I can do it. Here's my strength. Doesn't matter what it is, I can do it. I'm the perfect balance for someone who doesn't want to go through that. You tell them or you give them the bullet points and they're able to do whatever. If we're both sitting around reading a book, nobody has time to do it. But if I'm reading a book and giving the bullet points and he's doing whatever, or he's doing whatever, and I'm reading the book, we have found a place of balance to balance each other out. It's not always about how it looks on your arm or how it feels in the bed. How does it feel in your mind? How does it feel in your emotions? Because as you get older, sex begins to not be the top priority. We'll talk about that a little later. Because even though it's important, you have to understand its value. But while you're studying you, and while you're researching, because I encourage you to get into your word, to even if you need to read some mental health books, figure out where you are. Because hurt people are guaranteed to hurt other people. So if you're still battling your pain, you're not ready to get into a relationship of any type. Because whoever you're in the relationship is going to be the victim of your pain that you're still holding on to, and vice versa. And for those of us who have this huge desire to always want to fix people, that is because we have something within us that is not fixed. So we should not be looking for a husband at all. And definitely not one because we want to play Build-A-Bear Workshop. We have to learn to accept people for who they are and either deal with them or not. Because we cannot change anybody but us. Thank you for tuning in this lesson. Have an amazing evening. And may the Father have his hands upon you.